for more, we can bring in our international affairs editor, Rob Parsons. You all got a sneak peek at him a moment ago. Rob, the EU has imposed sanctions on Belarus before. Is a new round of sanctions likely to make any difference?
It's not, I think it's highly unlikely that it's going to lead to an immediate change in the behaviour of Alexander Lukashenko. We've seen what's happened over the last few months, but there's no question either that the vice is tightening on Alexander Lukashenko. Life is much more uncomfortable than it was a few months ago, and this will make it even more uncomfortable. You mentioned that the foreign ministers are meeting today. Already last week, we saw the Security Council involving EU defence ministers and the US as well, talking about how to respond to what they're calling hybrid warfare on the part of Belarus. And today, they quite clearly they are going to up the ante for Mr. Lukashenko. There will be, as you suggested, a crackdown on the airlines that have been facilitating the transport of refugees or migrants from the Middle East, in particular Syria, Iraq and Yemen. Already, Turkey has made clear that it will not be possible for Belavia, the Belarusian carrier, to transport from passengers from the Middle East from Istanbul. We've seen the Iraq clamping down as well, and already a Syrian carrier has said it will stop taking passengers from Syria as well to Minsk. So the net is certainly tightening on Alexander Lukashenko, and this will hurt. It's quite clear. He had hoped, I suspect, that he would be able to turn things around and put pressure on the European Union. But no, I think the pressure on him is going to increase. Will it be enough to stop him? Probably not at this stage.
And Rob, we talk about stopping him, but what is Alexander Lukashenko's end game in all of this?
Well, I was sort of just hinting at it there. But partly it's revenge. He is infuriated by the way that he sees he is being punished by the European Union ever since the election, which most people regard as being fraudulent last year, in which he won. And also, this feeling that he thinks at least that he can force the European Union to back down, to change course, and perhaps even make them pay for the migrants that are now flooding into Belarus. He has in mind, obviously, what happened in Turkey in 2015, when millions of refugees flooded from Syria in particular into Turkey, and Turkey did a deal eventually with the European Union, which the European Union paid a lot of money to help the Turks out. The situation is, however, completely different, although Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, was one of the first to suggest that this might be a way out of the problem. The European Union clearly does not see it in those terms. As far as the European Union is concerned, this isn't some sort of natural occurrence of refugees fleeing a war in Syria. This is the Belarusian authorities instrumentalizing human misery to try and put pressure on the European Union. And in those circumstances, it's clearly important for Brussels not to be seen to be backing into Lukashenko, and clearly that is going to be the position going forward.
And have you mentioned Russia's foreign minister? What is Russia's role in all of this, if indeed it has a role in all of this?
Yeah, I think it's certainly hard to prove that Russia has a role in all of this, but on the other hand, it's almost impossible to believe that it has not had some sort of role as well. The question is, I suppose, the degree. Is Russia pulling the strings? Is Lukashenko doing exactly what Putin wants? Probably not. I don't think it's as simple as that. But the fact that Sergei Lavrov was so quick to suggest this idea of the European Union paying for the migrants does suggest that there's a considerable amount of collusion at the very least. Probably what is happening is that Russia is giving Alexander Lukashenko as much rein as it possibly can to wreak havoc with the European Union in the hope of destabilizing the European Union and making life difficult for it. But, there are problems with giving Alexander Lukashenko too much rein. And the fact that he moved or suggested that he would cut the gas supplies from Russia to the European Union does suggest that this is a man who is a bit of a loose cannon as well. He doesn't always do what you expect or what you want him to do. And the Russians were pretty quick to crack down on him and suggest that he should row back from that position. Also, the Russians, I think, are playing quite a canny game with Lukashenko as well. They're trying to put pressure on him, trying to make his position weaker than it was, get concessions out of him. And interestingly, last week there was a suggestion from the Belarusians, for instance, that they would recognize the incorporation of Crimea. Remember, Crimea was incorporated by the Russians into the Russian Federation in 2014. Belarus never recognized that, but there was a suggestion last week that they might just do that.
All right, Rob, thank you very much for that analysis. The latest on the standoff between the EU and Belarus. Our international affairs editor, Rob Parsons.